Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this new remote room. Artificial intelligence has slowly but surely seeped into our personal and professional lives. And if you have any doubts about that, just ask Siri, Alexa, or ChatGPT. There are plenty of predictions about how artificial intelligence will take over our jobs, but don't fall for the myth that it will replace you. Instead, it can be like a trustful sidekick. So today we will be speaking about just that. And also, we will discuss and provide a comprehensive overview of business challenges, opportunities of adopting artificial intelligence, and we will talk all about that with industry experts about it. So remember, YouTube watchers, you have to be a subscriber to ask any doubts in the comment section. And remember, we invite everyone to also comment on LinkedIn any doubts that you may have. So we also want to get to know our viewers better. So comment below the flag from where you're watching us. So without further ado, let me introduce to Gino Ferran, founder of Tecla, who will be side by me to welcome our guests. Hey Gino, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you today?
Very good. So let's welcome our guests, shall we?
Yes, definitely.
So Julio Rodriguez Martino, partner and CEO of Infolytics, and Camila Manera, Chief and Product Officer at LIBRODEPASES. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us today.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
We're very
Thank
excited
you.
to
Thank you
have
very
you.
much.
Yeah, we're very excited to talk about AI and how it's basically taking over the world right now, as it seems, taking over the not just the tech industry, but really every industry, and it's something that people definitely want to know more about and how they can use it to their advantage in their own quests. Be it entrepreneurial quests or in their careers, and so it's such a treat to have you, Julio and Camila, today with us to tell us a little more about how AI is affecting your businesses, the potential that you see in it for your business, but also for all of our community of tech talent in LATAM. And so, Eugenia, I'll leave it up to you to see how we should get started. Maybe Julio can get us started with an introduction about himself and about Infolytics, and then we can Camila can tell us about Libro de Pases as well.
Yeah.
Sure. So my background is in science. I have a PhD in physics with some orientation in astrophysics. I got my PhD some time ago. I'm not going to say how many years ago. Uh, and since I always worked with data, I was always doing experimental physics. It was just natural to move to this world of data science, analytics, and then uh, in artificial intelligence. So I've been doing many different things in different companies and also building teams in different companies, right? For example, my last company was Mercado Libre, and before that EY, and now I'm trying to get back to a smaller company and a company that is partly my own. So that's also a challenge, right? So I'm a partner at Infolytics, and what we do at Infolytics is basically we solve problems using data. We use some techniques that have to do with machine learning and artificial intelligence, other techniques that are more visual, right? More oriented towards business intelligence. But all in all, what we do is that we solve problems, right? And I think that is very important to have in mind that you need to start by understanding the problem and trying to solve it and trying to prove the value of your solution, right? That's the main point when you try to sell, and I quote, right, your solution, in the sense that people need to understand what you're doing and they need to understand the value. And the value, is mostly economic, of course. We cannot deny that because you will lower some cost, you will save some time, or you will take the opportunity to do other things that are not so mechanical, and those things will be done by artificial intelligence, by some algorithm. And I think that is the main point. And I don't think anyone should be threatened by AI. On the contrary, it should be a tool, it should be a companion, and something that helps us do our job every day.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's like the big debate, right? Or one of the bigger debates of AI is what happens uh, to us as humans working at different companies and how that will affect us in our careers. And Camila, thank you so much, Julio. And Camila, please tell us a little bit about your background in data and AI and also LIBRODEPASES.
Yes, so I would love to say that I have a very like strange profile because I don't have a PhD as Julio. My first career was as a graphic designer. So I dream about being an illustrator and working in creative world. I started working at Disney as a creative part of the team. But I always have my passion for technology. But in my day by day work, I was not doing that. So I am a person of the YouTube generation. So I started seeing YouTube videos of how to making websites, and I started like finding amazing and also very creative the programming part of websites and all that part. So I started to combining that to work. So I started to develop some e-commerce and websites, doing the coding part and the creative side of the websites. So I wanted to bring that part to Disney because there I was just doing like the creative side of what it was my passion. So at that stage, I started like making a lot of courses of data science and data. Although I didn't have like a very strong background, I jumped in and I have a very like solid background of programming because I was doing that also. So I have the chance to start studying a postgraduate program in artificial intelligence. And with all that information, I have the chance also to travel to the India to make a short course there. And when I came back from that course, I say, why I'm not doing this in my day by day? How I'm not helping my company that I was working right now there at that time that it was Disney, in order to help how we can solve problems with data, but more like with a storytelling part and with a creative part, because we were like the best ones doing that, but we were not using that for data. So I have like the chance that the company trusted me. I presented a project and they give me the space and the team and the structure to think about how I can develop that in the company. So with that, all that things, we developed a platform that was a data platform with AI and with a very strong basis of storytelling in order to help all business units in order to take business decisions with data and artificial intelligence. That project won a Best of Disney Technology Award. So it was like the best way
Wow.
of closing that project. And after that, I start seeing that I love to create new things. So that's why I left Disney and I jump into LIBRODEPASES. I am a football or soccer fan because perhaps somebody's from US. So that's why
Football,
I
I
jump
think.
football. That is
Yeah.
okay. So that's why I jump into LIBRODEPASES in order to like have a big solid basis on data and AI, because LIBRODEPASES' main focus is to connect football players with agents at clubs around the world. So if we were using data with that, we can make a lot of algorithms and matchings between that sites. So that is what I have been doing for the last year. And thank that I have the chance to go to the World Cup. So that was also great part, because we have with Argentina the coronation of that. So
Yeah, great timing to join a company that sends you to the
yes,
World Cup. I don't think Disney would have sent you to the World Cup.
no, not at all.
And was working for Disney a remote opportunity, or do they have an office in Buenos Aires in Argentina, like a big headquarters there?
No, yes, we have like very big offices in Buenos Aires, Argentina. We were like the central hub of all Latin America, with characters, cinema, and all that. So it was like being inside of a park.
Yeah.
So yes, I work there. Of course, in the pandemic, I worked at home, but all the other years were at the office.
Nice, nice. That's wonderful. And obviously, Julio, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. One thing that that I wanted to kind of open up with both of you here is obviously everyone, we know it's not the only tool in AI right now, but what's your take on the news that recently came about of Chat GPT, releasing its subscription plan, doing the plus plan, and sort of what did you think of that when you saw it?
I was expecting it. I mean, it was so popular, and I think it was actually a very good marketing move, right? Because you can use the previous versions. I actually use them. I built a small bot that publishes on LinkedIn, and the text of the post is written by GPT-3, which is the previous version, right? And it's extremely cheap, really, really cheap, right? It's just a few cents a month or a dollar a month, something like that. But then they made all this fuss with the new version, which is better in many ways. It is, the training is better. I mean, you can see that the training is better, and also I think the interface is very good. The fact that you can actually chat with it, right, and explain things, and if it doesn't understand, you explain things better. So you have to think about your own problem and how to put it in words. I think that is a really big difference, a really big difference. And of course, I was expecting them to charge for it at some point. Uh, I'm not sure right now if it is too expensive or not. It depends on how much value you can get out of it, and I think for that it needs to evolve a little bit. So you can trust it in many things, and the answers are good. And in principle, the code written by ChatGPT is good, but in other areas is not so good. So you really need to be careful if you are just wrapping some product around it. But it will come with time and with people using it and improving it.
Will you use it at your company? Will you be buying the plus for at least some of your team members?
I think we could. I think we could. We, of course, code a lot at the company, so it could be great help for us. But also, to just to experiment with it, and to think about what products we can build around it. Right? It's difficult to think about something you can do with it if you don't know the product, their product, in depth. So just to play around with it and just to think about different ways. I was reading a couple of days ago a nice article in LinkedIn by one of the engineers working at the company at OpenAI, and he managed to turn ChatGPT into a terminal, a Linux terminal, right?
Mhm.
Just with different commands, and it was amazing, right? Because how can this model turn into something that resembles a terminal, right? It's not the real terminal, it's not the real Linux running there, but it can act as if, right? So if you think about it, there are many possibilities and a lot of room to think about what to do with it. And I think in that sense, it would be really useful to have a subscription.
Right, right, right. No, no, absolutely, absolutely. Camila, what do you think about the reveal of the subscription plans, and is LibroDePases or some of your team or you personally, do you think you're going to be using it, the plus plan?
Yes, definitely. One thing that I love about ChatGPT is that I think that perhaps previously when I talk with a lot of people, they were like seeing AI very like far away in the future, and perhaps they didn't know how to apply it in the day by day. And perhaps when I talk like, okay, we are working in this machine learning model or something like that, they say like, okay, you are like years far away in what we can do. So there, I think that their strategy has been quite good because they show us how we can use it our day by day, and AI is not like something for the future, but it's our present. And as Julio mentioned before, I think that the clue there and the key part of there is, okay, what problems do I have, and how the chat can help me. Because perhaps if you want to go there and perhaps we have asked what is LIBRODEPASES or what clubs need or something like that is more generic. And the answers are interesting and you can like play with that. But in the day by day, I think that the main point is say, okay, what problems do we have and how can this can help us? We can try it. And I think once you test that the solution is there, definitely the price and the subscription, it's something you can afford, because the value and the like the quick win you can get from that, it's like very interesting. So the answer is yes, I'm using it personally and also in the work, because when you have very clear the problems do you have, the solution is going to be good, because if not, it's like to play and that's it. So that's why I think that it was very clever to make a subscription, because once you have to pay, you have to make like more like pre-work to say, okay, this is good, it's gonna this is an investment I can get something about, because if not, it just end in a something that you play and it's a game and like that,
Right.
but it's not their focus.
Right. And I mean, it's I'm guessing here that as you were saying, ChatGPT has really brought the value of both of your companies to a new heights, because at the end of the day, I mean, as you were saying, I think users they understand how AI can help LIBRODEPASES and Infolytics, but also the work that Infolytics can do for different companies, and also, like, I mean, investors and everything, right? Because I've seen it pretty crazy on the news, obviously, investors trying to now be like, okay, now it used to be a hype kind of word. Like a lot of startups used AI just to get in on the bandwagon of like, hey, I'm doing AI, so it's going to be easier to raise money. But now it's like, no, this is real. And, this is real people getting value out of these tools. And so how is LIBRODEPASES? What is the at least like the next iteration of the product with AI? Is it mostly as a scouting tool, like tools for scouts to be able to see if they're better fits with the players, or how is AI fitting into the product strategy there?
Yes, I think that AI is like the something that empower us a lot, because we have the chance, we can have, and we have a very big database of football players, but there are not so many clubs like having the same needs in the same markets. So it's not very easy to say, okay, this player is going to be good for this and this and this team. You need a lot of data to make that determination, because you need statistics data, you need the information, the general information of that players, how it's in social media, what he's doing, what's it's in GPS from the training. So you have tons and tons and tons of information, very huge volumes of data, and we have very clear statements of what the clubs are looking for. So it's quite easy for us to make the match. And the key there is that previously, perhaps a football player has just one chance in the market, but now with this, they have more like 1,000. So there you bring a lot of opportunities, because you open the market and you open the scope. And of course, more football players are going to make their dream possible, because afterwards, perhaps they have to call a friend, or, okay, somebody from football, you can send my curriculum. Like before it was LinkedIn. So on that side, you have the chance to show your talent with more like 200 clubs. And before, perhaps they were just looking 2. So your chances are more. And our main goal is to have more and more success cases that we are having right now, because we know that the opportunities of the players around the world and in every market, because perhaps somebody that is playing in Argentina can travel to, I don't know, Middle East. And before it was something like crazy to think about, but with technology and data, now it's possible. So I think that we are on that like path, because it's not something like perhaps very like used to clubs to think about this tech, although they use data and AI to analyze their own players, but perhaps not for scouting. So there, I think it's the key. And of course, like the opening of the opportunities for the players, now to have more and more and have more success cases, so that the market goes big and big and big, and everybody has a place to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it democratizes the opportunity that players have, because whenever I'm watching soccer, football, sometimes I ask myself, are these really the best players in the world? Sometimes there's a lot of talent that goes undiscovered because they don't have the right connections to the right agents or to the right clubs, and obviously and I think that this really allows for maybe more opportunities to come to people just based on their abilities and based on the data that you can gather to really connect them to the right opportunity. So I think it's amazing. It will be really a way to elevate the level of the entire sport. Julio, at Infolytics, what type of projects are you thinking that are coming down the pipeline with clients because of ChatGPT, because of the recent? I mean, what ChatGPT has done is brought forth all of these different tools in AI as well. Every post on LinkedIn is like, hey, don't just look at ChatGPT, look at these 20. So there's just a lot of new products that have come up. How do you think that's affecting Infolytics, like the projects that you guys will work on in the next few months here this year?
I think we need to explain clearly that Chat GPT is just one part of what you can do with artificial intelligence, right? It's NLP, so natural language processing,
Right.
or generation, right? Both ways, right? It processes what you are writing and just creates some reasonable output that looks like a human speaking or writing. We could apply it to some parts of our work, specifically for example, for marketing, or for trying to find you know mentions in a social network. It would be really easy to do with ChatGPT, but we actually go much farther than that, right? We have customers in the oil and gas industry that need to predict how much a well will produce, right? Or, for example, if you have what is called a brownfield, which is in a few words, old oil wells there that you need to in some way rework, right? So where do you start, right? If you have hundreds, where do you put your money? Which one is the one that is going to give you oil sooner? Then we're also working with the banking industry, trying to analyze churn of credit card clients, and and this is very broad, right? We have a lot of tools, actually products that we develop, in particular some products for oil and gas, then some products to analyze time series, right? And this is very much what we do apart from NLP, right? We don't have actually right now any customer telling us, well, I want to use Chat GPT, because I think many people still sees this as something to play with, right? Not something that you can get some value out of. Of course, people are already building things around and products around Chat GPT. But again, NLP is just one part that will help you in some cases, in some use cases. Probably Camila will have more use than us in that sense. But of course, we will use it as an entrance to the world of AI, right? And to make people understand that AI is not magic, but it's not, again, something so complicated that nobody can use it, right? For example, people used to think, well, I cannot code, so how can I use AI? Well, there are many no code solutions, right? You just see it, just drag and drop things on your screen, you connect the different parts, and then you have a pipeline to analyze data, right? And then you at some point you apply some models, which are machine learning, artificial intelligence, whatever you want to call them, and then you're actually using AI right? Without writing any code. And now that is possible and is as good as coding. Of course, you can prefer to code because you want to know exactly what the script is doing. But if you don't want to code, or if you just are part of of a business that and you're focusing on your business and not on coding, you can do it. And I think that is really a revolution compared to what we could do not many years ago, right? 5, 10 years ago.
Now that's a good sort of segue into these projects that you mentioned in banking and mining, everything that can be done with AI. What are, you think, the skills that especially our community being in tech, what do you think are the skills that are most important to get in on working on these types of projects?
When I build a team, what I always try to find is people that can solve problems, right? So if you can sit down, think about a problem, find a solution, I don't care if you have to Google for 2 hours, right? The rest is just tools, right? So now we have Chat GPT to write the code. Before we had Stack Overflow to look
Mhm.
for pieces of code. You can learn. You can learn Python. You can learn R. You can learn other languages. If you are more interested in backend or front end, I mean, many people probably attending this talk, they are coders and they know how to do it. But the main point is, solve the problem, understand it, because then there's always a way to code it once you have the solution. And of course, then there will be different tools that are useful for different use cases, right? Some tools for time series, some tools for analyzing really big amounts of data, which is also, just a field in itself, big data, what we call big data, you know. So again, if you can learn, if you can solve a problem, if you can think out of the box, I think that is the main skill that is very useful nowadays for these types of projects or problems or products that we're building that are really at the edge, right? That are really solving problems that nobody else could tackle before because we didn't have the means, right? The CPU, the storage, the ease to create something in a very short time, a week, a month, right? It was
Right.
really impossible 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think that no code tools, which you mentioned, are incredibly interesting and a great tool to use with the tools that are coming up in AI,
Yeah.
because you can connect into all of these services so quickly that
Yes.
it's really a whole sandbox type of experience where you get to play with all of these different tools quite quickly, and they're pretty powerful too. So it's not just for people that don't code. It's not anymore that no code
Mhm.
tools are to, like, sorry, to Wix, like a page, portfolio page. It's like actual very powerful
Yeah.
tools. Camila, what about LIBRODEPASES? Like, what type of skills are you seeing that you guys need for your teams when it comes to AI? But also, as Julio was saying, like, what are some of the, more than like the specific tools, what are those traits you think that are important to get involved in AI?
Yes, I totally agree with Julio's vision because we have like the same spirit and focus. We are a startup. We are in a growing space, and we are building our culture and our teams. So what we look for, it's like we have the same vision that we can learn, teach anything, but we need people that wants to change the world, have a very like entrepreneur mindset. You have to live with a lot of frustration because startup world is like living in a roller coaster every time, because you have to change plans and scope and mission and things, although you always have a vision, but you have to try a lot of things in the road, and that has a specific mindset. So we are very focused on the culture, the spirit and the vision of what people want to do in the future, because we know that with that, we can swipe technologies and coding things. But with that, with the other part, it's impossible because we are on that road now. So although we have like a very like focus in data and AI, and of course like having also like football knowledge, it's very important for us also, because we have to work with that towards all the time. But we really focus in the culture, in the spirit, and how that persons want to become, want to do, and also if it fits with our culture, because we have like really achieved a very amazing team of entrepreneurs that want to change a lot of things in the industry and in the world, and that's really amazing. So we are very like careful of continue with that spirit, because we know that that is what let us be in the place that we are right now. So we are very like on that mindset, because we also have people in our team that before they were like working on the coding side and the website more on the coding part, and now they say, okay, we like data science, and they want to change, and we let them, because we understand that also that change inside the company are good, and they can also learn a lot of stuff, and we like encourage that things to happen.
Right. Yeah, no, that sounds like both of your places are great places to interview at, especially if you want to be looked at as a whole profile, and not just which skills. Oh, you got to have, in many interview processes, it's like you got to know this, that, and the other. These are the frameworks, these are the libraries. But problem solving today, I think, is really most important skill to have for anyone in development. But many people in our community too are also builders. They're tinkers. They want to create things. Today more than ever, there's the ability to create even a side tool that can make some income, that can, even if it's not a big $1 billion startup idea, there's ways to create things in the marketplace. What advice do you have for people that just want to build something that can maybe turn into a side business or get into a more entrepreneurial type path?
I would say that you should try. You should try different things. And again, there are many pre-built tools that you can use. Start thinking about what problem you can solve, or what problem you want to solve for yourself, right? Let's say you are bored doing some very repetitive task, and then you want to automate it or make it more creative in an automated way. Just go ahead and do it, and then you will find free tools for doing that. You can test it, and then you will learn in the process a lot of things, right? And then if you want, I mean, if you know how to code, of course you will be able to improve those tools that are available. And if not, just learn about other tools that do the same. And but you have to try and fail many times, and this is the spirit.
And my advice there is like start small, very small. Because I think that when you start thinking about the idea, you say, okay, seeing all the good things, and you get very like excited in the road, and after that it comes like but this. So it's not that easy, that part. But if you start saying, okay, today I'm going to do this and solve this, and you start like working like very in the constancy of that development, you're going to see the results. But if you like leave your head with all the if, you are not going to start, because you are going to say this is too hard to do, so you prefer to do nothing. So my advice there is start small today, and the other day start again and again and again, because you're going to have that spirit if you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And show your product to people, right, as soon as possible. we were talking about Chat GPT, and they did exactly that, right? We all know it is not perfect. We all know it fails many times, but they are learning a lot, for free. They are not hiring us to tell them what is wrong, and we are doing it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was reading a couple of weeks ago about how there's other companies that claim that they have something much better. I think it was Google or some other company saying we have something much more advanced than ChatGPT. Well, we didn't see it, right? The world
Yeah.
didn't see it. I mean, you kept it maybe a stealth or private a little bit too long, and sometimes you miss out on some market capture if you do that. But there's also people, obviously many candidates in our network that aren't developers, right? Aren't coders, aren't as, it's not as easy for them to get into AI, but also they want to understand how AI is going to affect their own profession. I mean, be it design, be it copywriting, marketing, so many different talented folks in digital, in the digital field outside of just coding. What advice? What do you have any recommendations on how you can get a grasp of the potential of AI so that you can really kind of bring it into your own context?
That actually goes with Maria Alejandra's question in YouTube. What advice would you give to someone who isn't a developer on how to get started with AI, understand it, and eventually use it in their field? Where should I start?
I will
That's
let
it then.
Camila start for I'm always speaking first. I mean, it's not fair.
No, I think that it's a very also good part of like the what we want to communicate with the AI world, because there's a lot of, as you mentioned in the presentation, it's a lot of like fear when you talk with about AI. Also, like in the creative part, because now you have AI tools that makes drawings, you have automated images, like everything now seems to be solved with AI, and people get scared about that. But I think that the importance here is to see how this can empower what we do and not seen as a threat, and how it's going to take what we are doing. Because we are having like more and more tools to be better. No, the barriers are higher and higher, and that make us like get more challenge, like go outside the comfort zone. So I think that from that side, it's like more like a philosophical way of seeing AI. But I think if we see it as something bad, it's going to make us feel like with this fear sensation, and it's not going to let us take all the advantages that we can. But if we say, okay, this is our reality, technology, we can't deny that every year has more and more and more things out. So what we can do, and also connecting it with what Julio has mentioned before, it's what problem do you have and how can I solve it? AI, it's a solution, yes. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. We have other stuff there. So I think that that's a way of seeing it. And going again to the question that it's more that how to start. I think that now we have more tools than ever before. We can listen to podcasts, we can read books, we can see courses, we can go to a college, we can do everything that we can, and it's a just of what we need. For example, in my case, I love to listen to podcasts, and when I go walking, I listen and I learn new things. I love it when I have the chance to go to 1 year course and learn every day, and it was okay also. So I think that we have to see what is more like feasible to what we are doing right now and the teams that we have, and we have now the chance to do everything that we want, and I think that it's amazing. I think that it's impossible to think about that anybody can start now understanding and working with AI. If you want now, you can learn a lot from your house. You can go to a place also. So I think that the chances are like infinity, and we have to say, okay, what is more like feasible of what we can do right now and our time and what we can do also.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. There are many possibilities for anyone, right? Either you can code, you can just use pre-built products, but the important thing is that if you use it as a black box, right? Any product related to AI, at least try to understand a little bit how it works, right? Even if you cannot go deep, because we can't. I mean, any of us has exactly is exactly in the same position, right? It's impossible to know everything about AI nowadays, as it is impossible to know everything about any field, right? I'm a physicist. Take me out of I don't know, particle physics and astrophysics, and I know nothing. I know very little about what is going on in other fields within physics, right? So it's really too wide. But of course, try at least to understand what that black box does, how it works, why you're getting the result you're getting. Try to read other people using it, what they think about the product, what they think about the results, what are the caveats, right? Well, we will probably at some point talk about how to be fair with AI, right? Not to have a bias in AI, how to be careful with private data when you train AI. So, just try to understand a little bit and read a little bit about that, about what are people saying about that product. Other than that, test it, try everything you want, see if it fits for your problem. Sometimes the solution to the problem is easier, but you would like to use AI anyway just to learn, and that's fine, right? So take a small problem, as Camila was saying, try to solve it, try to see what you get out of it, and then you will start, going up the ladder very fast.
Yeah, I think there's obviously ChatGPT being such a great tool for writers because it's
Mhm.
NLP based, and obviously it makes it a great tool for anyone doing copywriting and stuff like that. But since then, we've really been able to see so many tools in audio, like tools
Yeah.
that help you create better audio files, video, so all sorts of audio visual design, really in all sorts of different fields. So I think it's a great time to. There's a website that probably you guys know called producthunt.com.
Right.
Maybe we can put the URL on the screen or on the show at some point, but that's a great place to always find out about new tools that are being built. Of course, also there's other ones as well like it, but they're like directories of where you can find these like tools that are upcoming that mostly like developers are building. It's usually small teams. It's not like the bigger players announcing their like a promo space, so it's pretty cool. Now talking about though people getting into AI and stuff, is either of your guys' companies hiring right now, or why should someone wanting to get into work in AI in the digital space work at Libro de Pases? Why should they work at Infolytics? Why should they be interested in maybe learning more about the work that you guys are doing?
We'll be hiring soon, not now, but in a couple of months, we will be hiring new people. Why work with us? Well, because I find consulting companies very interesting, because every time you start a new project, you learn about different things, right? I've learned about electricity companies. I've learned about food companies, oil and gas, of course, because we have many customers in that space. Uh, so, I mean, you will never be an expert in any of these fields, but at least you pick a little bit about any part of different projects that you're getting with your consultancy company. And again, if you like to solve problems, and if you like to be you know challenged all the time by different problems, that is a very good opportunity.
Yes, and in our case, we are also like expanding our data and AI team. And why it's going to be a good opportunity to work with us. It's because you can innovate a lot. We are working a lot of innovation process because we are building all the month new things. So if you have that spirit, it's a very good place. And also, as I mentioned before, if you have an entrepreneurial culture, innovative culture, and also if you are in the path of building something new, I think it's going to be the best place for you.
And are you both hiring only when you do hire in Argentina specifically? I know both of you. I think I spoke to you both about remote work and you guys working from home. What is the culture of the companies working remotely, and what do you think about remote work going forward?
Yeah, go ahead, Camila.
Yes, in my case, I love remote work. I am a very huge fan of that because you have the chance to make a very good administration of your work. So we make that in the spirit of the company. We have teams in Argentina, in Mexico, in Colombia, in Uruguay. So that make us the chance, like, not just to hire in our country and in our own like city, but we can have people around Argentina that it's making an amazing work. And perhaps before we didn't have the chance to do that because we were all just in one place. So I think, as I talked before about LIBRODEPASES, this helps your company to have more opportunities, and the people that is working in your company more opportunities. I think that remote work is not for everybody, because you listen to different people that says, no, I like to go to one place because I like to have like this time frame period where I'm working. We work more with objectives, not just with time, because we work a lot with like agile projects. We have Scrum, so we have like, okay, in these 2 weeks we have this objective. If you want to do everything in 10 days, okay, because the objective is the same. It's not the amount of hours you designate for that, but the quality of what you do and the objective of that. So in our case, I think it's like it really helps us to be more like diverse, and also to make a good balance between life and work also.
And a quick question here too is if maybe someone in our community, maybe they still want, they have dreams still of becoming a professional football player. Is Libro de Pases open to players from all over the world, all over Latin America, just Argentina right now, or how does that work?
No, it works worldwide. We have more than 250,000 players around the world for 40 countries. Although we have a very strong community of Latin America because we are like a country that exports a lot of players around the world, but it's around the world.
Yeah, but no, that's nice. I mean, even if it's too late for some of us, everyone has a nephew or a niece who is gonna be the
Always,
next, it's the
always.
next Messi, the next
The next
Neymar. So I
Messi.
think, yeah. So yeah, no, Julio, please.
Well, I mean, talking about remote work, we are fully remote. We only have, so far, we only have people in Argentina, but we can actually hire anywhere. We have an office here, well, a virtual office here in Buenos Aires, and another one in Montevideo, Uruguay. So those of us that are here in Buenos Aires, we gather at least once a week at some co-working place. The rest are in different parts of Argentina, which is a big country. So we cannot always have the opportunity to gather and have a face-to-face meeting. And I think it's challenging. Remote work is challenging for many people. And I think the key is communication, right? I have to manage a remote team. I have done it before in other companies, and it's a challenge. So you really need to be good at communicating, right? So sometimes it depends on the urgency. Sometimes it's email, which needs to be really well written, so the message goes through, or a chat, or just a quick call, right? Just give me 5 minutes. I will need to tell you something. It's better if I tell you in words. And then ask for feedback all the time. So how are you doing? Do you need help? Do you need us to look at the problem together, sit together and go through the code, or just think about the problem? I think that is very important. And many people say when you're a manager, you don't have time to really sit and do real work. And I disagree. I think if you want, you won't be able to do something from start to finish, right? It's impossible. But you can sit together with the people working for you and understand the problem, make suggestions, listen, because many times they have much better solutions than I can think of. And I learn a lot too. So that, I think that is very important. Communication, being there, even if you're not there physically. But yes, we could have people anywhere in the world, and we could manage to build a team in that way without any problem.
Now, I know we've talked about, tools in AI, how to maybe get into AI, what is important for your profile, be it, for entrepreneurship or in your career, what's important to get into AI. Now, of course, everyone talks about the debate of what will AI do for society in the long term, and that's kind of a very big topic. But what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the next 10 years? Because that's really where most of us in our professional lives right now are going to live through, right? I mean, in the future, who knows if we're going to be in Mars, Earth, how everything is going to work out. But the next 10 years, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen in terms of AI and tech and digital?
I think AI will take over some jobs as any technology, right? We've been seeing that throughout history, and it will be faster probably because and everything moves faster. But we don't have to be afraid of that, right? We will learn new things. We will not waste time in tasks that are repetitive and boring and can be done by a machine. I'm not so sure that in the next 10 years we'll be seeing a machine thinking as a human in the real meaning of the way thinking, right? Being aware of itself and creating new things. What we see now with all these models, big models, is just taking bits and pieces from different parts and putting them together in a clever way, right? But I don't think that is really thinking or creating. The creative part is on us still, at least, as long as we need to write the description of what we want, we are the ones creating it, not the machine. And I think that is very important. We are not going to be replaced. We are going to be helped. AI is a tool, right? You are not going to try to use anything but a hammer to nail something, right? And this is the same thing. You are not going to do it with your bare hands. So take advantage of the tools, use them correctly, be aware of the limitations, and then we will be fine, right? And we are not going to be replaced.
Yes, and what I want to add there is that something that for me it's like a clear roadmap of how AI is affecting everything. When I finished school, AI didn't exist as itself, although we know that it exists like for years and years ago. But when I finished school, nobody told me that I can go to study a career of AI. It doesn't was nearby that, and now it's my career and my passion. So when I think for the future, I think like from the same part. Now, how many things AI is going to build that before didn't exist, and how many people it's going to work with that things that for now are not even a possibility. So I think that something very important in these next years is that we need to have the culture of change, studying, and innovation, because we know that things is going to in the near future is going to change very fast and a lot. But if we have the spirit of knowing that, and also the ability of converting our profiles in something new, we are all going to have more and more possibilities in the AI world. But if, as we talked before, some perhaps sometimes we look like more in a negative way and we think it as a replacement, I agree with Julio that the answer is no. Here is not if it's AI or humans, how we as humans, we can empower of the AI usage. And as we mentioned before, how can we start seeing all the advantage that it can bring us into our day-by-day work? I think that it's more like cultural way of seeing it, but I think it's very important for us as AI leaders or people that are working in the AI aspects to leave the message that here it's like there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of possibilities, and that we are not talking about a fight. No, it's like how we can embrace together and build something better.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was last week I read on LinkedIn, a very smart person posted not bashing ChatGPT. It wasn't negative against ChatGPT, but it said that, well, these tools are just, sort of, you can't fight it, but that they're eventually making us a little bit more stupid. What do you think about that? Do you think these tools like ChatGPT make us more stupid?
I have a nightmare, right? Which is, GPT in general and ChatGPT in particular, which is the latest version. They are trained on text found on the internet and mainly on the internet, right? So if we start using more and more ChatGPT to write things that go to the internet, tweets, LinkedIn posts, blog posts, whatever. At some point, the training data will be produced by
Right.
GPT, right? So that is my nightmare, that at some point it will repeat itself forever.
Right. A cycle of misinformation,
Yeah.
basically.
As for us, I'm not sure if it will make us more stupid, no more than a typewriter, right? Instead of writing by hand, we use a typewriter, we use a computer nowadays. And it will evolve to something else in the future. Maybe we will talk to the computer just to see, and you can do it now, of course, but it's not common to do it. But again, it is a tool. You will not be smarter or less smart by using it or not.
Yes, and I think that it's our blame. We can blame technology. If it's not its fault. We have to take the full responsibility there.
Yeah, definitely. It's up to us how much we want to let our brains turn off, or if we want to stay engaged with what's going on. I think there's plenty of opportunity to actually become smarter with these tools, and not as some dystopian future wants us to believe we could be heading to. But I mean, it's been so incredible to learn about Julio, about all your experience and the projects that you're working on at Infolytics, and so exciting to think about the projects that are coming for Infolytics in AI. And Camila, it's amazing to learn about your work at Disney, but also now at LIBRODEPASES, and everything you guys are doing for the whole sport of football, soccer. So we're extremely exciting to see what's going to come next with AI for opportunities for more players. And thank you so much for being here today. Eugenia, I don't know if there were any other questions that we didn't answer from that came in.
There's no other questions, but I do wanted to show this, that Lautaro showed a tool that he's developing for developers, and it's actually very cool. It's they have been having a discussion here in the comments about it, and now you should check it out here. It's the full so yeah, we've been discussing about that, and I like that it says like to help developers, like what we have been talking about, like to aid, not to actually to like not have it will replace, just to help. So yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing what else, like, the community's coming up with projects, and being able to showcase those projects as well, which is exactly what Julio and Camila, I think, we're encouraging people to do, which is to tinker and get in with the tools and create some things. And it seems like people are obviously already doing it. Everyone is all about using these tools right now to see what they can come up with. And thank you so much for both of your time and for being here. And we look forward to sharing this video after it airs. We'll share it on our newsletter, which goes out to over 40,000 tech professionals all over LATAM, and hopefully they can learn as much as we did today from you guys. So thanks so much, and
thank you.
See you guys soon.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.